I found myself praying and fasting for a man that was always hitting me. It sounds like something I wouldn't do, Abby. Well, that is life for you. Sometimes life will happen to you. You find yourself taking and tolerating more than you said you will never tolerate in the first place. Let me explain to you guys how it all started. I'm from a household where God and Jesus Christ was the center of it all. And while growing up, I remember I told myself that I was never going to tolerate any form of domestic abuse, either from a boyfriend or from a husband. Like the very first time I experienced it, I am going to walk away. I am going to leave. Little did I know that life was going to throw at me things that I will endure and endure more than I said I will actually endure. I don't know if I'm making sense. Now, there was this time in my life where I met this guy. For the sake of the story, let's call him Kunle. Kunle is somebody that is a religious type because I see him every time I go to church. Like, he's a fine man and he's always in church. At first, I didn't take cognizance because the reason why I go to church in the first place is just to pray to my God, listen to sermon, and get about with my day. But there's a particular time that we had this youth conference in church, and Kunle participated in one of these sermons. So after that day, I started seeing him differently. That was when I started taking notice of him. Not only is Kunle fine, he's tall, he's clean, he's good looking. He also fears God. Then I started wondering to myself after that youth conference, I was like, this man we find like this, the follow woman, he's always in church. Like he's that kind of person that you call a very religious guy. So that was when this guy approached me. I didn't even doubt him because I felt okay. This is a guy that, of which before he approached me, I had a little crush on him, I'm not going to lie, after that youth conference. When Kule approached me, he told me that he has been noticing me anytime I come to church. I look like a God-fearing woman and I'm his kind of person. And he also said that he wants to do the things the right way, so he's going to get pastor involved. When he approached me, I told him that your proposal is not bad, given that, I have a little crush on you, I like you, but if I have to go into anything relationship related, we are not going to have sexual intercourse. He was like, yeah, it doesn't have a problem. I was even surprised that he even agreed to the whole thing. So from that day onwards, we started dating. I told him I didn't want sexual intercourse because I was a virgin as at that time, and given that my sister got married as a virgin, and at that point my sister and her husband were still thriving, so that was the kind of marriage I wanted for myself. I thought Kunle was a sweet man when he agreed to us having a relationship, regardless of me telling him that I didn't want sexual intercourse. Tell me why 3 months into the relationship I received the first slap of my life from a man, and guess who did it? That same Kule. His excuse was, why will I tell him no when he wanted it? This was the same man that agreed to us having a relationship from the start, regardless of me telling him that I wasn't going to have sexual intercourse with him. After that incident happened, I told myself that I was going to leave him. The minute I get home, I was going to send him a breakup text. But guess what? When I got home, I couldn't do it because emotions were already involved. I was giving him the benefit of doubt. Like, it wasn't making sense to me. That version of Kunle that I had in my head, that God-fearing, kind, good man, was still overshadowing the Kunle that I saw, of which that day when I got home, before I even got home, he was calling me, telling me, begging me, testing me that it was the devil, he didn't mean to do it, wanting yada yada yada, that and at least I should have let him put the tip. Now Shebi was just begging me to put the tip, that the tip of his, that he didn't want to do it. He's a man, in as much as he's a godly person, sometimes his manly nature can take over. So it was after that long talk and the whole convincing, using Bible to brainwash me, talk a whole lot of things, that made me give him the benefit of that for the second time. But almost after that day, I kept on receiving different types of beating from this same guy. And every single time he did it, I always forgive him because what? He used the Bible, he used spirituality to brainwash me. The relationship between me and Kunle continued. Some days it will be okay, and some days he will act like a demon. There was this incident that happened to me when our relationship was 8 months. That is today, I can't forget. So that particular period, I got to discover that Kunle had a 7-year-old child that I was not aware of. So I approached him that day I was in the house that day, and I told him that you have a child that you didn't let me know about. Why didn't you tell me this from the beginning of the relationship? Why do you have to, hide such a thing from me? I was saying these things so that we'll have a conversation like two adults. But guess what? I couldn't flip the narrative and turned it into a fight to the point that this guy panicked, like he beat me, he was dragging me on the floor. And when this thing was happening to me, I was just praying to God, telling myself that if I can get out of this place alive, I would never have anything to do with this guy. But of course, now when the whole thing ended, when I got home, I still couldn't break up with him, and he was begging as usual, to the point that he even got his mother involved. Now when his mother was telling me that I should forgive him, she was just saying a lot of things. She said she knows that her son is acting like that because I have not given him what he has been asking me for. Like, you guys understand now, that means I have not given him Pekus. That's why he's acting irrational. That if I can just let him have his way, that maybe he's going to come around. And given that I love this guy, and one thing about emotion is it can be blinding sometimes. The next time I went to his place, I allowed Kunle to have his way, in as much as I wasn't happy with it, in as much as I found myself breaking the promises I made to myself. I felt if I let him have his way, he's going to behave better. But he didn't. It was like he became worse. So fast forward to few months later, Kunle came to my family and did introduction, of which on that day of introduction, I was still having doubt, but I overlooked it. So this particular time I was in class for lectures and I wasn't concentrating. So after the lectures, there was this friend of mine that approached me and she told me that she noticed that I wasn't concentrating, that what is going on. So I confided in her and told her that this is what I'm facing in my relationship. This guy beats me. He hits me. In as much as anytime he does it, he knows how to beg. Like, he knows how to use scriptures and gifts to beg me. But every single time I forgive him, he goes back to doing the same thing. And this guy now has done introduction and I'm having doubts. So when I finished telling my friend just kept quiet and looked at me. She told me that it is better I walk away from the relationship now that it is not yet marriage, because if I marry that guy, he's not going to change, and when I eventually marry him, working out is going to be difficult, because probably by then I would have already have children. Then I asked her, what do you mean? That my friend is already married, she had kids. She told me that that's what she's facing in her own marriage currently, that when she was dating her husband was hitting her, but she gave him the benefit of doubt. She saw the red flag and still went ahead with the marriage. That currently she's still regretting it, that she wants to leave, but she's finding it difficult to leave because children are already involved. That she is telling me this thing so that I will not make mistake, that I should walk out of that place. That can't I look at the way I'm looking, that I'm not even looking like my skin was, I was having breakout, I wasn't looking beautiful anymore, that like I was looking stressed. She just told me that I should take her advice and I should walk away. For the very first time, it was as if somebody opened my brain. It was as if the thing that was blocking my brain from thinking straight before left me. So when I got home that day, I sent Conley a breakup test and I told him that I wasn't interested anymore. He thought it was joke, because he thought it was a regular way now. So it was when the whole thing has gotten to like 2, 3, 4 days and he saw that I wasn't changing my mind. That's when he took it serious, started getting everybody involved. He got his family involved. He was begging, rolling on the floor, telling himself that, using Bible to swear for himself that may unfortunate thing happen to him if he hit me. At some point, he even got my family involved, because my family already know that he has already come to the introduction now. So some of my family was begging that I should give him the benefit of that. But for the very first time, I stood my ground. I was feeling hurt. I cried, but I stood my ground. I came to the conclusion that this guy was never going to change. After all said and done, the relationship between Kule and I ended. I finally got the courage to walk away. Like, thank God for that, my friend, that made me realize that I had to walk away. If not, I would have gotten worse from that guy. Imagine, I was thinking of marrying somebody, the same me that said, hey, the first sign of abuse, I'm going to walk away. Look at me. I stayed for months of torture and months of abuse. I'm sharing my story so that ladies should learn. Don't tolerate, walk away from the very moment you see it, that red flag, because when you give that person the benefit of doubt, it is going to continue. They never change. Okay, hope you've been able to learn one or two from this story. It is not my personal story, but I decided to share. Thank you guys so much for watching. To share a story with me, please send me a DM or please send me a message to the email on my bio. And that being said, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.